Hello. Oh, you're here, so let's talk Back to the Future. Today I am ranking Back to the Future. Let me just give you a shocker. I think it is a shocker, which is, I watched this trilogy for the first time. And before my ranking, please subscribe to my channel and like this video if you loved even a second of it. So let me share my thoughts by ranking these three movies. Number 3. Back to the Future Part 3. I was really confused between Back to the Future 3 and 2. At most times I think that 2 is better, but there are times when I think 3, so right now it's 3, which is the weakest of the 3. I have to mention the fact that this is not a bad film. All 3 of this trilogy are really great, but one reigns supreme, which I'll talk about later in this video. This movie, Back to the Future 3, goes the Western route, which I personally liked, and the Biff vs. Marty scene in this movie is really great. I also enjoyed the third act of this movie, but it obviously had some flaws, like Marty's grandparents look much like him and his mother, which I found to be a bit weird and funny. Although the second act was a bit boring to me. And Mad Dog Tannen, the Old West mad villain version of Biff, was I think better than normal good old Biff. Doc Brown also had a different arc in this movie with Clara, which further solidifies his character. All in all, this is a great movie. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Number 2. Back to the Future Part 2. As I said before, sometimes I think it's Part 2 and sometimes Part 3. Right now I think Part 2's better than Part 3. When it comes to Part 2, it felt that they fit more things than it needed, and it also felt a bit repeated. That's pretty much the issues that I have with this movie. I think the alternate reality where Biff is the mob boss king was really fun to see, and when Marty goes back to 1955 where they reverted the whole enchantment under the sea part from the first part was also great. Part 3 and 2 also added another thing which was not there in Part 1, which was that when someone says yellow or chicken to Marty, he just gets angry and frustrated. That was a bit weird for me. Again, this is still a solid, great movie which deserves an 8.4 out of 10 in my opinion. Number 1. Back to the Future. This is the definitive sci-fi comedy, time travel movie. I watched this trilogy for the first time, as I said at the start of this video, but still this movie gave me that nostalgic feeling. Even if I wasn't born in 80s or 90s, it would still give you nostalgia. From emotion to feel good, to comedy to sci-fi, it excels in every part. This movie has near to no flaws, and the Johnny Be Good scene, the climax and the last epilogue, these scenes that I mentioned are the best part of the movie. Crispin Glover was so fun to see, and the Emmett Brown and Marty chemistry hits you in the heart. Just this concept of going back in time and making your parents love each other while your own mother is falling in love with you is just so interesting and fun, and weird at the same time. So that was my ranking for the Back to the Future trilogy. I absolutely adore these movies, especially the first. And if you want to see more of movies and shows, ranging from rankings to reviews, do subscribe.